I still remember the first time I noticed it, the subtle but undeniable signs that a person's body was preparing for its final chapter. It was decades ago, in the early years of my career, when I first began working with elderly patients. Back then, I was eager to help, determined to find ways to ease their pain and prolong their time. But over the years, I learned that sometimes the most important thing wasn't trying to fight the inevitable, it was recognizing it, understanding it, and ensuring that those last months were filled with dignity, love, and peace. My name is Dr. Samuel Brooks, and for over 40 years I've dedicated my life to elder care. As a geriatric specialist and end-of-life consultant, I've worked in hospitals, nursing homes, and private care settings, helping families navigate the difficult journey of aging. I've seen thousands of patients in their final years, and over time, I started noticing patterns, warning signs that often appeared long before families realized the end was near. The problem is, these signs can be so subtle that they're easy to dismiss. A little weight loss, a bit more forgetfulness, an afternoon nap stretching longer than usual. Most people chalk it up to normal aging, but looking back, families often say, the clues were there, we just didn't see them. That's why I'm here today, sharing what I've learned on my program, Aging with Grace, a place where we talk openly and honestly about the realities of growing older. Today, I want to tell you about the 5 key signs that can appear up to a year before an elderly person passes away. Some of them may surprise you. Others may make you think about someone you love. But most importantly, knowing these signs can help you prepare not just emotionally, but practically, so that you can make the most of the time you have left with those who matter most. As I speak about these signs, I know that for many of you, a name or a face has already come to mind. Maybe it's your mother, who used to love gardening, but now barely has the strength to step outside. Maybe it's your father, who always had a sharp wit but lately seems lost in familiar conversations. Or perhaps it's a grandparent, someone who raised you, who once felt invincible in your eyes, but now spends more time asleep than awake. I understand the worry that creeps in when you start noticing these changes. The quiet fear that whispers, is this it? Is time slipping away faster than I realized? I've seen it in the faces of families who come to me, searching for answers but afraid of what they might hear. And I've felt it myself, because no matter how much experience I have, no matter how many patients I've cared for, the truth is that watching someone you love grow weaker is never easy. It's human nature to hope that what we're seeing is just another phase, just a temporary setback. We tell ourselves, maybe they just need to eat a little more. Maybe they just need some rest. Maybe it's nothing serious. But deep down, a small part of us wonders, what if it is? I've had families sit across from me, their hands clenched tightly together, their voices hesitant as they ask, Dr. Brooks, what does this mean? How much time do we have? And the hardest part isn't giving them medical explanations. It's seeing the realization settle in, the way their eyes well up, the way their breath catches as they begin to understand. Because when we recognize these signs, we aren't just facing the decline of a loved one, we're facing the reality of loss. And loss, no matter how much we try to prepare for it, always feels like it's coming too soon. But if there's one thing I've learned in my years of working with the elderly, it's this: while we cannot stop time, we can decide how we use it. And that's why I'm here to help you recognize these signs early, so that instead of being caught off guard, you can be present, you can be prepared, and most importantly, you can make the moments that remain truly count. So take a deep breath. I know this isn't easy, but you are not alone in this. Let's walk through these signs together, one by one. I remember a particular case that still haunts me, a family who came to see me, desperate for answers, only to realize too late that the signs had been there all along. I, Dr. Samuel Brooks, sat with them in my modest office, feeling the weight of regret in every silent glance exchanged. They spoke of moments when a simple gesture, a forgotten word, an unexplained loss of appetite, or a slight change in mood had passed unnoticed. They lamented that in their busy lives, they had mistaken these subtle clues for mere signs of aging, never suspecting that they were witnessing the quiet unraveling of a vibrant life. As I listened to their tearful recollections, a familiar sorrow filled my heart. I had seen too many families gripped by this same remorse, an aching realization that if only they had recognized these signals sooner, they might have made different choices. Perhaps they could have spent more time talking, more moments laughing, or even just sat together in silence, cherishing every fleeting minute. Instead, they were left with a lingering feeling of regret, a haunting thought that they had missed the chance to create lasting memories. Many of us live our lives in a rush, barely pausing to acknowledge the small, yet significant changes in our loved ones. It's only when these changes culminate in an irreversible decline that we are forced to confront the truth. I often tell families that these signs, however subtle, serve as urgent reminders to cherish every moment. Regret often comes not from the inevitability of aging, but from the missed opportunities to truly be present. I see it time and again, a gentle warning in the form of a minor weight loss, a seemingly inconsequential bout of extreme fatigue, or a brief lapse in memory, all of which, in hindsight, are clear indicators that time is running out. This remorse is compounded by the painful acknowledgement that once these signs are ignored, there is no turning back. I urge everyone, especially those who care for older family members, to take a moment to really observe and appreciate the small signals of change. Don't let life pass you by without recognizing the quiet messages that your loved ones are sending. Remember, while we cannot change the course of time, we can choose to act with awareness and compassion. It is in these thoughtful actions that we can perhaps ease the sorrow of regret and honor the dignity of those we hold dear. I remember vividly the moment when the weight of inevitable decline pressed down on a family I had come to know so well. I, Dr. Samuel Brooks, sat quietly in the living room of a modest home, listening as a daughter softly recounted how her once vibrant father had gradually surrendered to fatigue and memory lapses. The once strong man, who had always carried himself with a quiet dignity, now struggled with each shallow breath and weary step. His laughter, which once filled the room with warmth, was now a rare whisper, replaced by long pauses and a profound silence that spoke volumes of his internal battle. As I listened, my heart ached not only for him, but for all those who must witness such painful transformations. There is an indescribable sorrow that washes over you when you see a loved one diminish before your very eyes. It's the sorrow of knowing that every laugh, every conversation, and every shared memory is slowly fading into the backdrop of relentless time. The memories of days when your loved one was robust and spirited, when each moment was filled with the promise of tomorrow, are now intermingled with the bittersweet reality of their weakening state. I have often seen families gathering around a dining table, reminiscing about the good old days, their voices trembling as they spoke of the times when their relative could walk briskly, without needing a cane, or engage in a lively discussion, without a hint of confusion. The contrast between the past and the present is heart-wrenching, each image of strength replaced by one of vulnerability, The transformation is not just physical, it is an emotional unraveling that leaves an indelible mark on everyone involved. Hearing these accounts, I feel the deep sorrow that many carry silently, a sorrow mixed with the tender remembrance of what once was and the painful acceptance of what is now. It's a poignant reminder that, despite our best efforts to preserve life, the march of time spares no one. Yet, in these moments of profound sadness, there lies an opportunity to cherish every fleeting moment, to honor the memory of strength, and to create a space where love and compassion gently cradle the heart as it prepares to let go. In sharing these experiences, I hope to inspire not only awareness but also a deep empathy, a call to all of us to hold our loved ones a little tighter and to appreciate the time we have before the inevitable farewell. I remember a time when I sat with the Carter family in a softly lit living room, their eyes filled with both sorrow and the quiet hope that only shared understanding can bring. I, Dr. Samuel Brooks, listened as they recounted memories of Mr. Carter, once a man of boundless energy and hearty laughter, now subdued by the slow progression of age. In that tender moment, I could feel the warmth of their love mingled with a palpable grief, a grief that was softened only by the comfort of shared empathy. As we talked, I reassured them that it was natural to feel overwhelmed by the changes they witnessed every day. I explained that while the physical signs of decline can be heart-wrenching, there is profound solace in knowing that these moments also reveal the depth of the bond we share with our loved ones. I shared with them stories of other families who had journeyed through similar experiences, stories where empathy became the gentle hand guiding them through the darkness. Your father's path is a reflection of a life rich with memories and love, I said softly. Even as his body weakens, the essence of who he is, his wisdom, his humor, his kindness, remains with you forever. And in this shared vulnerability, you are not alone. I encourage the Carters to hold on to those small moments, the tender smile during a quiet conversation, the familiar sound of laughter echoing in a hallway, or the simple act of holding hands. These, I reminded them, are the true treasures of life. In that room, filled with the gentle hum of compassion and understanding, I witnessed a transformation. The heaviness in their eyes gave way to a quiet resolve, a determination to cherish every moment, however fleeting. Empathy, I explained, is not just about sharing in the sorrow, but also about celebrating the resilience of the human spirit. I, Dr. Samuel Brooks, remain committed to guiding families through these challenging times, offering not only my expertise, but also a heartfelt embrace of understanding and comfort as we navigate the delicate balance of loss and love together. One afternoon, I found myself sitting in a quiet consultation room with a family who had just experienced a moment of startling clarity. I, Dr. Samuel Brooks, listened as they pieced together memories of seemingly insignificant changes that, in hindsight, carried profound meaning. They recalled how, over time, they had brushed off Mr. Henderson's occasional forgetfulness, the slight decrease in his appetite, and even the gentle, almost imperceptible pauses before he spoke. At the time, these were merely seen as normal parts of aging. Yet, when I explained that these subtle cues were early indicators of his body beginning to slow down for good, their faces transformed from calm acceptance to one of astonished realization. The Mitchell family, too, shared similar revelations. They described how they had always assumed that minor weight loss or an extra nap during the day was just part of the aging process. It wasn't until we discussed how these changes could signal a deeper, more significant decline that they began to see these moments in a new light. They were amazed and deeply unsettled to discover that the body had been sending quiet warnings long before the more dramatic symptoms set in. It was as if a veil had been lifted, exposing the quiet urgency behind every small change they had once taken for granted. I explained that the human body often whispers before it screams. These minute shifts, an offhand remark about feeling more tired than usual, or a gentle sigh, when faced with a simple task, are its way of communicating that time, for all its beauty, is also fleeting. Many families come to me later, overwhelmed by regret that they hadn't recognized these signs sooner. They tell me, Dr. Brooks, we were so caught up in our daily lives that we missed these subtle signals. And in those moments, I remind them that awareness is the first step toward cherishing every remaining moment with our loved ones. The realization can be both shocking and heart-wrenching. It's astonishing to think that something as small as a change in routine could hold the key to understanding the gravity of a situation. Yet, it is this very awareness that offers us the opportunity to act, to hold tighter, to love deeper, and to truly appreciate the time we have left. In sharing these insights, I, Dr. Samuel Brooks, hope to inspire not only recognition, but also a renewed commitment to being fully present for those we hold dear. I remember a moment in my long career that truly redefined my purpose. I, Dr. Samuel Brooks, sat with a family who had just emerged from the shock of sudden realizations about their loved one's subtle decline. In that very room, amid tearful confessions and hesitant smiles, I witnessed a spark, a quiet yet undeniable determination that transformed despair into inspiration. Every subtle signal, from a fleeting lapse in memory to a slight decrease in appetite, began to take on new meaning. Families who once brushed these signs off as ordinary signs of aging started to see them as urgent reminders to savor each day and to make every moment count. I recall a daughter who decided, right then and there, to document her father's favorite stories, preserving precious memories before they faded completely. A son reorganized his busy schedule to spend more quality time with his ailing parent, determined to be present when it mattered most. Even a long-separated sibling reached out, inspired by the newfound resolve to mend past distances and create new bonds. In that moment, it was as if the weight of inevitable loss shifted, giving way to a fierce commitment to honor the life that had been so richly lived. I explained to them that while our bodies may send us these quiet warnings, our hearts have the power to rewrite the narrative of decline into one of love, resilience, and purposeful living. These subtle changes, though initially alarming, could be transformed into a call to action, a chance to infuse the final days with meaning and deep connection. For me, Dr. Samuel Brooks, every family I meet reaffirms my mission to guide you through these challenging transitions with compassion and clarity. I urge you to view these delicate signals not as harbingers of inevitable loss, but as opportunities to live more fully, to love more deeply, and to embrace every precious moment with renewed determination. Let us transform our grief into a legacy of inspiration and commitment, ensuring that the final chapters of life are written with courage and hope. In the quiet moments following difficult conversations, I, Dr. Samuel Brooks, have learned that embracing peace and acceptance is the ultimate act of love. I recall one autumn afternoon spent at the home of a family who had reached this tender juncture. Their beloved grandmother, once a spirited woman who filled every room with her vibrant energy, now rested peacefully in a sunlit corner of her favorite living room. The gentle rustling of leaves outside and the soft melody of a cherished song on the radio set the stage for a conversation that transcended words. As we sat together, I explained that death is not a failure or a loss to be feared. It is a natural part of the journey we all share. I spoke of the beauty in accepting that the end of life is simply another phase, one that calls for tenderness, dignity, and mindful care. I reminded them that while it might be painful to acknowledge that our loved ones are fading, it is even more important to ensure their final days are filled with comfort and meaning. I encouraged them to focus on the moments that still shone with warmth, a gentle touch, a softly spoken word, a memory evoked by a familiar scent. In that room filled with both sorrow and solace, I saw how acceptance could transform fear into a quiet resolve. The family began to see that by embracing the natural cycle of life, they could honor their grandmother's long and rich history, celebrating each day as a gift rather than a countdown. I told them, "Your loved one's journey does not end with the decline of her physical strength. It evolves into a peaceful transition where every smile, every shared story becomes a testament to a life well lived." By choosing to focus on creating a nurturing and calm environment, adjusting the lighting, playing her favorite music, and sharing gentle reminiscences, they not only eased her discomfort, but also found a renewed sense of gratitude in the present moment. In that transformative space, the pain of impending loss softened into a serene acceptance. It was a reminder that while we cannot halt time, we can choose to fill our remaining moments with compassion and care. This approach, I, Dr. Samuel Brooks, believe, allows us to honor our loved ones by providing them with the dignity and peace they deserve in their final chapter, a legacy of love that endures even as life gracefully fades. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to our channel and leave a comment below. Your support truly helps us continue creating meaningful content for you. In life, we learn that the journey toward the end is as natural as the beginning. The key lesson here is to cherish every moment with compassion and mindfulness, recognizing that subtle changes, whether in our own health or that of our loved ones, are gentle reminders of life's impermanence. Rather than being paralyzed by fear or regret, we are encouraged to transform these signs into opportunities to express love, create meaningful memories, and honor the dignity of every individual. By staying present and attentive, we can foster deeper connections and find solace even in challenging times. This approach not only enriches our relationships, but also empowers us to live with greater purpose and gratitude. Embracing the natural cycle of aging and loss teaches us that every chapter, no matter how bittersweet, holds a valuable lesson about resilience, empathy, and the beauty of shared humanity. Let us carry these insights into our daily lives, nurturing ourselves and those around us with understanding and warmth, so that in the face of inevitable change, we can all find peace and inspiration.